Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so before we begin our discussion this morning, let us have an opening prayer to be led by Lindy.
Let us bow our head and put ourselves to the presence of God and the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom still love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, you may take your seats. So, how are you doing today?
We are all fine, ma'am.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that all of you are doing fine with a bright smile starting the day. So, before we proceed to our lesson, let us have first let us have first an agreement. Okay? So, is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
So before we proceed to our lesson, let us have an agreement first. Is that okay with you, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you all to pay attention while I'm discussing our lesson. No unnecessary conversations with your seatmate. And if you want to answer, can you raise your hand silently? And I want you all to participate and cooperate if you have a group activity. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so before we start our new lesson, let us have a short review first. So, do you still recall the lesson before about figurative languages?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is figurative language? Yes, Jessa?
Figurative language is a language that has meaning behind the literal meaning. It is also known as figurative of speech.
Okay, figures of speech. Very well said, Jessa. So can you please give me an example sentence of figurative language? Okay, Lindy.
Her smile is bright as the sun.
Okay, her smile is as bright as the sun, and that sentence is an example of simile. Very good. So another one, this last one.
The trees dance as the wind blows.
As the wind blows. So the trees dance as the wind blows. So that sentence is an example of personification. Okay, so now class, I have here a video presentation taken from YouTube. After watching the video, I am going to ask questions to you, class.
Okay, ma'am.
So, what can you say about the video? Yes, Jessa?
Yes, ma'am. The video presentation contains songs that have various meanings for their literal meaning.
Okay, so the video presentations have various meanings from their literal meanings. Okay, so can you share with us a sentence or a lyrics that are difficult to understand? Yes, Lindy?
I think the line just like fire burning out the way.
Okay, thank you, Lindy. So, the video that I presented to you is an example of literary devices which will be our lesson for today. So, at the end of the lesson, I am expecting that you will be able to identify the literary devices that are used in sentences and construct sentences using literary devices. Okay, so in this lesson, you will be introduced to some literary devices. So, literary devices are common structures used in writing. Literary devices are specific techniques that allows a writer to convey a deeper meaning that goes beyond what's on the page. And lastly, literary devices work alongside plots and characters to elevate a story or an idea and prompt reflection in life, society, and what it means to be human. Okay, so there are some literary devices that I will share with you, and some of these is the allegory. So please read, Lindy, what is allegory?
Allegory is a figure of speech where abstract ideas are described using characters, events, or another elements.
Okay, so thank you. Allegory is a figure of speech where described using characters, events, or another elements. So an example of this is George Orwell's Animal Farm. So George Orwell Animal Farm is the perceived story is about a group of animals. So Animal Farm is about siya story sa mga animal mga group of animals sa farm. Pero also they are animals who rise and defeated humans. Pero ang underlying story niya is about Russian Revolution. Just like mga stories nga gibuhat ni Rizal. So like for example, Nolilitan Hire. So it talks about the love story of Maria Clara and Ibarra, but the underlying story is that it is naghatag message sa revolution sa mga Filipinos. So next is allusion. Allusion is a literary device that references a person, place, thing, or event in the real world. So an example is this: my sister is a real cruise when it comes to gifting. So another example is Lindy is the Albert Einstein of our class. So si Lindy, i-refer siya nga pareha siya ni Albert Einstein kay kanang ibo ka na si Lindy break kayo ang ika-break niya pareha ni Albert Einstein 20 katas ang IQ. So next is alliteration. Please read Jessa.
Alliteration is a literary device that uses the same letters or sounds at the beginning of the words in the sentence or title.
Okay, so an example is the wicked witch of the west went on her way. So the W sound is repeated throughout the sentence. So the W sound, wicked witch of the west went on her way. So the W sound is repeated throughout the sentence. So we can find alliteration to some tongue twisters like that. So next is colloquialism. It refers to expressions, words, and phrases used in informal, everyday speech and including slang. So an example of colloquialism is gonna from the phrase going to. So instead of saying I'm going to the market, we can say I'm gonna go to the market. So another is I feel blue instead of saying I feel so sad. Okay, so another, diction. Diction is a literary devices that refers to the choice of words or style used by the writer to convey their message. So an example of this is I remember her hair in particular because it was a flick. Another is, so that sentence is informal. So diction, kanang diction, magamit na natin siya sa mag-refer na siya sa ato ang environment. If ang nakasurround sa ato ang mga tao na authority, so dapat ang isulti pa nato ang atong choice of words is formal. So like this, good day to you, ma'am. So that is a formal sentence. It's formal greeting. And another is I gotta go. That is a colloquial setting. Another is peace out. So another one, euphemism. Euphemism is a mild or indirect word or expression substituted from one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So kaning euphemism, gigamit nato niya siya kanang like for example mag-explain ta sa mga butang-butang. So naay word nga kanang bitaw maon siya paminawon, ato siya ilisan kanang okay siya paminaw madalara. So instead of saying someone is dead, we can say gone to heaven. Another is someone is poor, we can say that he is underprivileged. So instead of saying a monk, atong CR, I'll go to the restroom. So I'll just go to the powder room. Another is kanang unemployed. Instead of using the word unemployed, we can say between jobs. So flashback. Who wants to Lindy.
Flashbacks. In literature, occur when the narrator goes back in time for a specific scene or chapter to give more context to the story.
Okay, so flashbacks in literature occur when the narrator goes back in time for a specific scene or chapter to give more context to the story. So an example of this is a woman is about to get married, and as she puts on her veil, she remembers her fiancé 3 years before swearing he would make her his wife someday. A tear comes to her eye as she compares to Dahlia. So ang plus baka lang mag-reminisce ka sa mga panghitabo mo sa una. Like for example, nakaroon, ang nagtindog na ka na, nakainundog ka sa imo ang kanang kaagi sa una, na bitaw mo na siya ang flashbacks. So foreshadowing, it happens when the author places elements within the writing that give clues about what will happen in the story's future. So an example is, the leaves fell early that year. So this is a line in Ernest Hemingway's opening line of A Farewell to Arms that foreshadows an early death. So ang line na, the leaves fell early that year is a foreshadow of an early death. So ang foreshadow, kanang dito maghatag siya clues of what will happen in the story without the future of the story. So next is imagery. Imagery refers to using visually descriptive or figurative language in your writing. It is more likely showing versus telling in writing, where you use more sensory languages versus blank and plain words. So an example of this, instead of saying the sun is so beautiful or the sunset is so beautiful, so we can say the sunset was stunning as ever. The clouds were edged with pink and gold. So, ang English gamit mo siya kanang itong meaning, ino pa siyang i-explain colorful. That's a more colorful explanation. So lastly is juxtaposition. Juxtaposition means placing contrasting elements next to one another to emphasize one or both, including words, scenes, or themes. So ang juxtaposition is kanang two opposite elements na gibutang sila in the same situation. So an example, you will soon be asked to do great violence in the cause of good. So ang violence of good, contrasting sila sa duha. So another is the tiger lays next to a chicken. So tiger, predator, and chicken is the prey. So now that I am done introducing to all of you some of the literary devices, I am going to put you into a test to see that you listened and understood my discussion. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have some sentences in here, and I want you to identify what kind of literary device is being used in the sentence. Okay, so who wants to answer first? Okay, Lindy.
Number 1. All Adams ate in August was apples and almonds. It is alliteration now because they repeat letter A in one sentence.
Okay, very good. So the letter A in all, the letter
Adams.
A in Adams, A in the word eight, and A in August, and A on apples, and A on almonds. So that is alliteration. So number 2, please read, Jasa.
My grandmother has already passed away. Euphemism.
Okay, so how can you say that it is euphemism?
Because the word pass away was being stated by the formal.
Okay, so the phrase pass away is an example of euphemism. Instead of saying the grandmother is dead. Okay. So third is the clouds were edged with pink and gold. What kind of literary?
Imagery, ma'am.
Okay, very good. It is an imagery. What you said was below the belt. What kind of?
Colloquialism.
Okay, colloquialism. Below the belt is a kind of colloquialism. Lastly, the tiger placed next to the chicken. What kind of literary device?
Juxtaposition.
Okay, so why is it juxtaposition?
Because the tiger is the predator and the chicken is the prey.
So it has an contrasting situation. The two contrasting elements are put into the same situation. Okay. Now that you have understand and can answer the previous sentences, let us have a review of our discussion earlier. So, what are literary devices? Yes, Jessa?
Literary devices are techniques that our writer uses to produce a special effect in their writing.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Joseph, for answering. Now, how do literary devices affect the content of a written work? Yes, Lily.
So, literary devices can stimulate the reader's mind and give them a deeper reading experience.
Okay, very well said, Lily. Now, can someone give me some sample sentences using literary devices and state what kind it is? Yes, Jessa?
Mine. He was like the lesson in our class. Allusion.
Okay, very good. Now another. Yes, Lily.
What you said it was already below the belt is colloquialism.
Okay, excellent. Now, do you still have questions or clarifications about our lesson this morning?
None, ma'am.
Okay, nice. So this time we are going to have a group activity. So I will group you into two. So Lily is one and the two is Jessa. Each group will be given a set of pictures, and what we're going to do is to make a stanza or one stanza poem out of the given pictures that are using the literary devices, and you can choose which literary devices you are going to use. So you will be given 10 minutes to compose your poem, 1 minute preparation, and 2 minutes presentation. Okay, your time starts now. Are you done, class?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Please take your time. Now you're done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so please, Bunpan, can you present your one stanza poem? You are given 2 minutes to present it.
So our group mates choose we wrote about love. So the title of our poem is all about Fool for Your Charms. Every day with you gives me a thrill. All my dreams you richly fulfill. I'm a fool for your charms. You belong in my arms. Love me. Please say that you will.
Okay, thank you, Bunpan, for that wonderful conversation of your poem. Now, group 2, please present your poem.
Okay. With our group mates, we'll choose love of the moderate poems. So all of the special joys in life, the big ones and the small, the mother's love and the tenderness in the greatest of them all.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful language of the poem that you created along with your teammates. Okay, now can you please give yourselves a round of applause? Okay, very good. Now that we are done with our group activity, let us have a short quiz. So please prepare 1/4 sheet of paper and answer this. The directions is name the devices of each sentences. Name the literary devices that are used in these sentences. So you are given 10 minutes to answer this, and after that we'll check your paper. Okay, are you done?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay, are you done? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so exchange your papers and put corrected by on it. Okay, so who wants to answer first? Okay, Lindy.
His pointed nose, dark eyes, and squeaky voice scare the child. It is an imagery map.
Okay, very good. Now for sentence 2.
I'm Kevin and it's come to the story. Allusion map.
Okay, very good. I am checking when it comes to ghost stories. That is an allusion. So number 3, Lindy.
Peter Piper picked a piece of pickled pepper. It is alliteration map because of the letter P, they all repeated in the sentence.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that short explanation, Lindy. So the number 4.
Cecilia suddenly remembered back on the day when she was still young. Flashback.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. So number 5, Leslie.
Mom.
Okay, Lindy.
And the trees all died. They were orange trees. I don't know why they died. They just died. All these kids looking at these little brown sticks. It was depressing. It is foreshadowing, Mom.
Okay, very good. Now, who got the perfect score? Okay. Oh, Lindy got the perfect score. Now, for that, please pass your papers. I'm just going to collect it. Okay. Now that we are done with our discussion today, I'll just give you a homework that will be passed on our next meeting. So your homework will be compose a paragraph of 5 to 10 sentences using the literary devices of your own choice. Okay. So that is all for today. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Mom.
Mama Calzo, and thank you.
Okay. Thank you po.